Hi again. My name is Robert Thomas DeVincentis, and I'm the author of the Book of Kings. And the Book of Kings has got 4 subjects in it: science, nature, man, and God, which brings about aftermath science. And I'm the author of aftermath science, but actually, God is the author. He's the author of the creation and the things that I talk about here and the knowledge. A lot of times people will say, well, what are your credentials? Are you a doctor, a lawyer? Do you have great knowledge? Are you a priest? Are you a theologian? Are you a person like an astrophysicist, a scientist? No, I'm none of those things. I'm a historian, and I talk about the history of things that really happened. And the great thing about that is that you can't lie about history. It either took place or it didn't. And so in a court of law or in a book, it can't be taken away. It has to be part of the scenario, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. Today we're going to be talking about something, and I'll tell you in a minute, but first I have to show you the book. And this is a picture of it, the Book of Kings. I wrote this over a 30 to 40 year period. And again, it's America's Aftermath Science and Historical Origin. The only reason it's America's Science is because I'm an American. I speak English. I was born here. If you go to try to get the book, you have to go online. There's a lot of people that might have that last name. So you got to have Robert Thomas DeVincentis. And if you come to the little girl with the telescope, then you've got the book. Today we're going to be discussing the belly of the whale. And if you know the story about Jonah, well, that's what we're going to hear about. And then this is the back of the book: Science, Nature, Man, and God. And it shows the chronological order: Earth first, followed by moon and stars. And there's all kinds of things in the book that point to the chronological order of what God had done. Wow, the belly of the whale. That's an interesting topic. So what are my credentials? My credentials is that I had the greatest teachers and witnesses in the world, greater than any professor, unless they're in the same vein, or any doctor or any lawyer. Because the greatest information that you can ever know are the people in the Bible that actually tell the story. So if you're after intelligence, you can go there. But remember, King Solomon, who God granted the greatest wisdom and knowledge, he had said a couple things that were quite interesting. That too much book learning is not good for you, makes your soul weary. And also knowledge, great knowledge brings about sorrow too. So you want to be careful. There are things that you can get involved in and think about that could bring you down. But we're going to discuss people in the Bible today that had a role, and they have a perfect role, just like you do. Every person on earth has a role, and that role is designed specifically by God to bring about who you are in the genealogy of the time period that you find yourself in life. So Jonah was given a job, and then he ran away. Now he's a prophet of God. Can you believe that? And he's running away from God, and he finds himself in a situation where he gets cast into the sea, and a whale swallows him. And of course, he's in the belly of the whale. And God uses that particular moment as a mirror image that he would also be in the earth or whatever to the 3 days, and then he would rise. So in the belly of the whale, Jonah is crying out to God, and God hears him, and then God basically sets him on his way again. And it was through the Holy Spirit of God that he was speaking through the prayers and things. And it's a very interesting story about Jonah that God really loved him, but at the same time, Jonah also is part of the Bible. How great is that? God loved Jonah, and at any rate, Jonah was giving God a hard time. Then we come to the Apostle Paul. He's the guy that's holding the coats for the people that stoned St. Stephen. That's not a good thing, but anyway, God said, when the friends of God said, "Oh, Jesus, this guy's no good. He's persecuting," he said, "Don't worry about it. I got it covered. He's going to suffer great things for my name's sake." And of course, if it wasn't for the Apostle Paul to the Gentiles and Christianity, we wouldn't be here discussing this right now. So he was a great man. And we have Peter, who denied Christ. And these are all people that knew and loved the Lord. And then finally, I'm talking about another person. And this goes to show you that we do have purpose in life. Rahab the harlot. Wow, what a name like that in the Bible. Of course, she was a girl, and at the time when the Jews were spying, and they ran into her, and she hid them. And eventually, when they were going to be triumphant over the city where they were trying to enter in, they spared her, and guess what? She becomes a part of the genealogy of Christ, her husband being Solomon, and her son being Boaz. And these are direct lineages down to King David. So if you're inspired to read the Bible, that's a good place to go. And then finally, we want to talk about who am I, and if I make great claims about myself, oh, I'm this and then I'm that. But the fact of the matter is that I'm just another human being. But the point that I'm trying to make today in The Belly of the Whale is that everybody in their lives has done certain things, I suppose, that they regret, and they're trying to run away from those things, just like Jonah did, instead of facing the problem. And we are so fortunate to live in a world where we have the Roman Catholic Church. Now, I'm going to say something here where I myself included don't always say, "Oh, I need to know this," and no, I don't need to know this, and I don't need to know that. Sometimes I say, God, it might be better off if I didn't know, because a lot of times the things that you're asking God about, maybe you're better off if you don't know. But at any rate, if you do know something or people or yourself, then you have to realize how awesome that is. How could God include people in his genealogy to bring about the birth of Jesus Christ? It's just far more than we can ever conceive. Okay, so what about the sacramental life of the Catholic Church? And I'm a historian. The Catholic Church hasn't commissioned me to say anything on their behalf, but I am a Roman Catholic. And so they have the confessional. And I always believe you should pray for the priests, because they have a great burden that could be possibly on their soul from hearing the confessions of what other people have said. But that's a part where you receive absolution and you're set free again, because God doesn't want you to have the burden of these things hanging over you, so that when you go out in the light of day and you see the clouds, the moon and the stars at night, you're going to realize that how perfect and how glorious it is that we can have and know these things. So anyway, the last part of it is that, in heaven, they say when this world has come to an end and then God's going to create a new heaven and a new earth, there's a point in heaven where there's a silence. The whole world is silenced because of Christ. Thank you for listening, and have a great day.